officers, valuable Consul Generals, and esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen. And today we are so happy to organize this event, the level event, and firstly I would deliver my opening remarks, welcoming remarks. Under Secretary General Chua, Professor Bhanuroli, Guru MP Bhanu Sharma, President Vigyan, Foundations of Nepal, Excellencies, Consul General, Sisters and Brothers, from the Nepali community, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this special event, marking the inaugural celebrations of International Women's Day. We are honored by your esteemed presence here this afternoon. I thank the Consul General of Nepal and the World Health Organization for hosting this important event. Nepal is deeply humbled to have successfully initiated the resolutions proclaiming April 15 as International Wellness Day. I take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to all member states supporting our initiative. Mid-April is of special significance as it falls in spring in the northern hemisphere. This period also carries social and cultural resonance across South and Southeast Asian countries. In Nepal, it coincides with the dawn of New Year. It is therefore befitting for us that April 15, observed as International Wellness Day, provides an opportunity for individuals, for communities to reflect, to rejuvenate, to reconnect, and to reaffirm our shared commitment to advancing holistic well-being. Today we come together not only to commemorate our new international observance, but to affirm a shared global commitment. The commitment to holistic well-being for the people living in every nook and corner of the globe. Excellency, distinguished guests, the significance of the International Wellness Day goes far beyond its observance. It reflects our commitment to rethinking how we live, how we grow, and how we care for one another. It is a global call to foster awareness and collaborations on holistic wellness through preventive lifestyle-based and people-centric approaches. It reminds us to tap the immense opportunities of the wellness sector in eradicating poverty, supporting inclusive development, and advancing the 2030 agenda. By promoting healthier lifestyles, expanding access to preventive services, creating decent jobs, especially for women and young people, reducing the burden of non-communicable diseases, strengthening mental health, supporting regional health systems, stimulating local entrepreneurship, preserving traditional knowledge, and fostering greener, more sustainable consumption patterns. The wellness economy can serve as a powerful driver of a sustainable development and a better future for all. At the same time, it encourages all of us to promote affordable, inclusive, and accessible practices of wellness through education, knowledge sharing, and multilateral cooperation. In addition, it serves as a driver to strengthen global solidarity and cooperation for peace, resilience, health systems, and promotion of human dignity, as well as the sustainable well-being of humanity. In this way, wellness becomes more than a personal pursuit. It becomes a foundation for collective progress, fostering peace, fostering prosperity and sustainability and better future for all. Excellencies, distinguished guests, at a time when the world faces multiple overlapping crises, from conflicts, public health emergencies, and climate change to rising inequalities and mental health challenges, the importance of wellness has never been more evident. These overlapping global crises continue to test the resilience of our governance systems and the societies. Despite remarkable progress across health, education, ICTs, and human development, the benefits remain unevenly distributed, leaving millions behind. This is where stronger global solidarity and cooperation for wellness play a critical role. Wellness is a dynamic and holistic state that transcends the mere absence of illness. It is not only about physical health, but about the whole human experience, including mental well-being, emotional resilience, social harmony, spiritual awareness, and ecological sustainability. These dimensions are not isolated. They are deeply interconnected and mutually reinforcing. A healthy body cannot thrive without a sound mind. Resilient communities cannot exist without inclusion and trust. And sustainable development cannot be achieved without respect for environment. Thus, holistic wellness offers us a comprehensive framework to address the root causes of many global challenges while uniting us across regions, across culture, and across generations. Excellencies, the observance of International Wellness Day aligns closely with the ethos of Nepal's foreign policy. Friendship with all, enmity with none. It reflects our long-standing commitment to unity, diversity, peaceful coexistence, and global fraternity. These principles continue to guide our engagement with the world and reinforce our belief that the well-being of individuals, communities, and nations is inseparable from the broader pursuit of harmony and shared prosperity. For Nepal, wellness is not a contemporary trend, but a civilizational inheritance, rooted in our history, rooted in our culture, and rooted in our harmonious relationship with nature. From the majestic Himalayas to the panoramic plains, Nepal offers a legacy of harmony. Harmony between people and nature, harmony between body and mind, harmony between tradition and modernity. The message of peace, compassion, and mindfulness of Lord Buddha, enlightened son of Nepal, is more relevant today than ever before. It is the birthplace of Buddha and a land enriched by the wisdom of sages and saints. Nepal has long offered teachings that elevate inner peace, compassion, and balance. Our traditions of Ayurveda, meditations and yoga, nurtured by serenity of Himalayas and our enduring spiritual legacy, offer a pathway to achieving balance, resilience, and inner peace in an increasingly complex world. These values do more than define who we are. They reinforce our national commitment to global peace, human dignity, and sustainable development. In this spirit, we see holistic wellness as a bridge connecting cultures, strengthening partnership, and advancing a collective vision for a sustainable future for all. Excellencies, let me conclude with three simple and profound reflections. First, holistic wellness is not an abstract ideal. It is a both achievable and foundational to dignity, inclusion, and shared prosperity. Second, investing in wellness is strengthening the pillars of peace and resilience while accelerating progress towards the sustainable development goals. particularly those related to health and welfare. Now, we are one human family. Our diversity is our strength and our solidarity is our power. We must choose a culture of peace over conflict, dialogue over divisions, and holistic wellness over a piecemeal approach to health. Today's observance is not of the design, of course, but the starting point was that Nepal remains committed to working closely with the Union member states, intergovernmental organizations, civil society, academia, private sectors, and other parties in advancing holistic wellness for peace, prosperity, and sustainability of the present and future generations. We envision building Nepal into a global hub for wellness. The vision is not only about travel, it is about transformation by connecting people with nature, with culture, and with themselves. To advance this vision, the government of Nepal has declared that year 2027 is Nepal Wellness Year. We hope that this will help promote sustainable wellness tourism, support local communities, and encourage innovation and partnerships at regional and global levels. We invite all of you to be part of the journey. Let us work hand in hand from strength to strength in building a future where wellness serves our people and planet, where people live with dignity, and where society thrive in harmony with nature. Today's observance is not just a symbolic observance, but a call to action for building healthier life individuals and more resilient society. May this first International Wellness Day inspire lasting collaboration and meaningful change for the well-being of humanity at large. I thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, Honorable Shishir Khanal, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nepal, has kindly shared a video message on the occasions of the first International Wellness Day, conveying his reflections and best wishes. I now request colleagues to play the video message by Honorable Minister.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, namaste. I'm very happy today to celebrate International Wellness Day with you all. This is the first time we are celebrating it. On this special occasion, I wish you all good health and happiness. Let me take this opportunity to thank all the member states of the United Nations for supporting the UN resolution initiated by Nepal, proclaiming 15th April of each year as International Wellness Day. Wellness is the foundation of personal well-being, social harmony, peace, and development. Wellness is a holistic approach that embraces physical, mental, emotional, social, and ecological well-being, going beyond the mere absence of illness. Wellness emphasizes preventive, lifestyle-based, and people-centered approaches. More importantly, wellness is a pathway for enhancing quality of life, safeguarding human dignity, and enabling individuals to realize their full potential. It stresses promoting accessible, inclusive, and affordable practices that encourage healthy and sustainable lifestyles. We firmly believe that promoting wellness contributes significantly to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, including poverty eradication, job creation, and inclusive economic growth. On this occasion, I'd like to call upon governments, private sectors, communities, spiritual organizations, and all other concerned to actively observe the International Wellness Day to improve wellness of humanity all over the world. Excellencies, let's make the world healthier and happier, and let's start it from us and from today. Thank you.
I'm grateful to the Honorable Minister for his very encouraging remarks. I now invite His Excellency Mr. Lee Chua Honorable Secretary General, Department of Economic and Social Affairs, to deliver his remarks.
Ambassador Luck Adakama, Permanent Representative of Nepal to the United Nations, Excellencies, Guru LP Sharma, distinguished professor, dear colleagues, dear friends, it is an honor for me to participate in the first observance of the International Wellness Day. This moment comes at a critical juncture. Around the world, communities are confronting a rising tide of non-communicable diseases, mental health crisis, environmental stress, and widening inequalities. These challenges underscore the urgency of advancing a holistic understanding of wellness that supports a healthier people, stronger communities, and more resilient societies. By proclaiming the International Wellness Day, the United Nations General Assembly affirms a vision of the well-being that aligns closely with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Wellness is fundamentally about enabling every human being to realize their potential and thrive with dignity and live in harmony. It is essential not only to the SDGs 3 on good health and well-being, but also a prerequisite for progress across all SDGs. International Wellness Day calls for a holistic approach to well-being that integrates the physical, mental, and social dimensions, with prevention, equity, and inclusion at its core. It reminds us that well-being is a shared responsibility, grounded in solidarity, advanced through the multilateral cooperation, and delivered through the inclusive cross-sectoral policies. At the ECOSOC Youth Forum that just concluded yesterday, young people called for further investment in youth well-being, empowering youth not only as beneficiaries, but as partners and leaders in shaping a healthier and more inclusive future. Excellencies, in advancing a holistic approach to wellness, sport and physical activity can offer clear and accessible pathways. The World Health Organization recognizes regular physical activity as a proven strategy for preventing non-communicable diseases, improving mental health and enhancing overall well-being. Sport for Development initiatives demonstrate the benefits of the partnerships in building the resilience, inclusion, and social trust across communities. International Wellness Day also calls on to recognize the diversity of the indigenous cultures, traditional knowledge, and evidence-based practices. Respecting and safeguarding these systems is essential to inclusive development and to leaving no one behind. Excellencies, dear friends, today's observance is a call to action, a call to strengthen multilateral cooperation, invest in preventive care, protect the traditional knowledge systems, and ensure that the wellness practices are affordable, inclusive, and accessible to all. Together, through the solidarity and partnerships, let us advance this shared vision of the wellness for the present and the future generations. Thank you.
I thank the Honorable Secretary General for his important remarks, which clearly highlighted the deep interlinkages between the SDGs and overall wellness. Excellencies, we are joined by the Director General of the WHO by the video message. I request the Secretary to play the video message by His Excellency Dr. Petros Anano, the Swiss Director General of the WHO, whose leadership continues to guide global efforts to advance health resilience and well-being for all.
thank Nepal for its initiative in establishing International Wellness Day and for the opportunity to offer a few words today. For WHO, health is not merely the absence of disease. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Well-being means having the conditions to live with dignity, purpose, and hope, even amid challenges like climate change, conflict, inequality, and loneliness. It means recognizing that health is not created primarily in hospitals and clinics, but in homes, the streets, schools, and communities, in the air people breathe, the food they eat, the products they consume, and the conditions in which they live and work. And it means recognizing that the health of humans, animals, and the environment are inseparable. WHO is promoting well-being by working with partners across the UN and beyond to promote social justice, inclusive economies, and new ways to measure progress that reflect what truly matters in people's lives. International Wellness Day is a reminder that well-being is not a luxury. It is everyone's business. I thank you.
I sincerely thank Dr. Petrus for the message. Excellencies, now I am pleased to invite Professor Taylor J. Bandruvelli from the Harvard University for his keynote speech. Professor, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kappa, distinguished guests, friends, delegates. I would like to offer my hearty congratulations to Nepal, to all Islamic nations, and in fact, to our world for the establishing of this International Wellness Day. It is truly an honor and privilege to be able to speak to you today on wellness, flourishing, and our future. Move to the next slide. Many of our institutions and academic disciplines have grand visions of wellness or flourishing. The definition of wellness offered by the International Wellness Day is a dynamic and holistic state in which individuals and societies are enabled to maintain sound physical health, mental well-being, emotional resilience, social harmony, spiritual awareness, and ecological responsibility. As we've also just heard, the World Health Organization's definition of health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Next slide. At the Human Flourishing Program at Harvard, our definition of flourishing or wellness is likewise expansive. The relative attainment of a state in which all aspects of a person's life are good, including the contexts, the communities, the environments in which that person lives. So wellness or flourishing is multidimensional. We may be flourishing or well in certain ways, but not others. It is also an ideal. It is not something we ever perfectly achieve in this life. But it includes also our communities, our environment, and we see this in each of those definitions offered. Next slide. With something so broad, we cannot hope to entirely measure this. But where we can begin is with some concrete aspects of well-being that might be shared across traditions and understandings and cultures. And so what I would offer is that whatever else might be included in wellness or flourishing, it would also include the following 5 domains of human life: happiness and life satisfaction, physical and mental health, meaning and purpose, character and virtue, and close social relationships. These things do not exhaust flourishing or wellness, but each is a part of it. I think each of these 5 domains of human life is nearly universally desired, and also is an end in itself. It's sought for its own sake. These things are not merely means to other ends. And I think those criteria, being an end, being nearly universally desired, can help shape consensus around what to measure. And so, next slide, we have made an effort to measure flourishing or wellness in a variety of contexts, using a brief assessment of wellness or flourishing, taking 2 questions in each of these 5 domains, drawn from various sources, from the OECD, from the UK's campaign to end loneliness, from the World Health Organization's mental health survey. We might move to the next slide, please. These 10 questions are as follows. First, with regard to happiness and life satisfaction, we asked, how satisfied are you with life as a whole these days? Each of these self-rated from 0 to 10. And then in general, how happy or unhappy do you usually feel? With regard to physical and mental health, in general, how would you rate your physical health? How would you rate your overall mental health? With regard to meaning and purpose, overall, to what extent do you feel the things you do in your life are worthwhile? To what extent do you agree with, I understand my purpose in life? With regard to character, first, I'm always acting to promote good in all circumstances, even in difficult and challenging situations. And I'm always able to give up some happiness now for a greater happiness later. And then with regard to close social relationships, first, I'm content with my relationships, friendships and relationships, looking at the quantity of those relationships. And then my relationships are as satisfying as I would like them to be, looking at the quality of those relationships. Next slide, please. We do also supplement these 10 questions with 2 others on financial and material stability as important means to sustain those other ends. These 2 questions drawn from the financial well-being literature. How often do you worry about being able to meet normal monthly living expenses? How often do you worry about safety, food, and housing? We've collected data on this wellness or flourishing assessment in a variety of educational, clinical, workplace, and community settings. But our largest effort to date is a global flourishing study. Next slide, please. This study presents over 200,000 individuals in 22 geographically, culturally, religiously diverse countries, representing about 2/3 of the world's population, with representation on each populated continents. Sampling is nationally representative within each of these countries, and we are following this group of 200,000 individuals once a year for 5 years to try to understand the distribution and determinants of well-being. What are each region's strengths and areas for growth? What patterns seem to be universal and which are culturally specific? This is an open access data resource accessible to anyone through the Center for Open Science. Wave 3 was just released, and we are now in the field with Wave 4. Next slide, please. With regard to some of the high-level results, when aggregated over the 22 countries, men and women report roughly similar flourishing scores. But there's variation. Women report higher flourishing than men in Japan, but the reverse is the case in Brazil. Men report notably higher flourishing than women. There are also interesting and important patterns of age. The traditional patterns of age and well-being, mostly using happiness and life satisfaction, have been U-shaped, with younger people and older people doing better, and those in midlife perhaps struggling with young children, aging parents, career challenges reporting lower. But what has been happening over time is that that left part of the U has been flattening. Young people are not doing as well as they used to be. And so overall, across these 22 countries, we now see that flourishing is increasing in age. In many countries, the youngest group, those 18 to 24, are reporting lowest levels of flourishing or wellness. Overall, but also in specific countries, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, UK, Sweden. Not everywhere. India and Egypt still manifest more U-shaped patterns. And in Poland and Tanzania, flourishing scores could be decreasing with age. Replicated prior work, but now with a more global scope, we find, perhaps unsurprisingly, that those employed, educated, married, countries, these flourishing patterns with education are increasing, not everywhere. In Hong Kong and Australia, one finds the reverse, flourishing decreasing with education. So more work needs to be done to understand what might be taking place. Next slide, please. Perhaps, however, the most interesting results pertain to when we disaggregate these various aspects of flourishing. We can see that different countries are flourishing in different ways. While high-income countries tend to report higher levels of overall life evaluation and financial security, it is in fact the middle-income countries that tend to report higher levels of meaning and purpose, pro-social character, relationship quality. And because of these things, one finds that when you look at these other aspects of wellness or flourishing, the patterns are quite different than what one finds, say, in the World Happiness Report, with just life evaluation taken into account. The countries towards the top in these flourishing assessments in our global flourishing study are Indonesia, Israel, Philippines, Mexico, Poland, largely because of these aspects of social well-being, of meaning in life, of pro-social character and orientation. Thus, while in the World Happiness Report and in the Global Flourishing Study, Sweden does very well on overall life evaluation, second of these 22 countries in the Global Flourishing Study, it is 19th with regard to meaning in life. Here in the United States, of the 22 countries, we are towards the bottom, 17th on social connection. And so I think this raises very important fundamental questions with regard to how can we carry out economic development, which is so important, without compromising meaning, relationships, and the pro-social character. Next slide, please. And of course, this is important also in thinking about the sustainable development goals. The 17 goals are, of course, extremely important globally. That third goal, good health and well-being, is critical to these pursuits. But in part because of lack of data and indicators, that goal as its indicators focus principally on physical health. The Sustainable Development Index now does include a single question on well-being using the Cantor ladder, asking respondents to think about their life, their potential life as a ladder from 0 to 10, where 10 represents the best possible life and 0 the worst possible life, and asking them to place themselves and their life on that ladder. Next slide, please. This question is asked in the Gallup poll of over 140 countries, and because of this, we have learned a great deal about well-being from sources like the World Happiness Report. This single question in the Gallup poll has allowed for its inclusion in the Sustainable Development Index. However, little attention is given there to matters of meaning and purpose, or character, with targets or indicators. And unquestionably, part of the challenge is data availability. All we have data on across these different countries is this Cantor ladder question. The Global Flourishing Study itself is just 22 countries, not the 140 countries of the Gallup World Poll. But if we are to work towards carrying out economic development in ways that preserve meaning, character, and relationships, we need the inclusion of these other aspects of well-being in our data collection and in the Sustainable Development Goal indicators. Next slide, please. I'm happy to announce that through discussions between the Human Flourishing Program at Harvard, the Oxford Wellbeing Research Center, and the Baylor Institute for Global Human Flourishing, and through the generosity of European and American philanthropists, starting in 2027, the Gallup poll will now have data on an additional question on life satisfaction. Overall, how satisfied are you with life as a whole these days? And also 3 questions on more eudaimonic or humanistic forms of well-being, meaning, character, and relationships from those flourishing assessments before. We'll have data on overall, to what extent do you feel the things you do in your life are worthwhile? To what extent do you agree with the statements? I always have to promote good in all circumstances, even in difficult and challenging situations. To what extent do you agree with my relationships are as satisfying as I would like them to be? I do think this could pave the way for inclusion of these aspects of eudaimonic well-being, meaning, character, relationships, and Sustainable Development Goal indicators as well. Next slide, please. We are also working with Everyone Can Flourish project, led by the UN Habitat, the UN Local 2030 Coalition, and other organizations, to try to advance wellness, flourishing, well-being, and so as to contribute to the global post-UN 2030 agenda debate, as well as to the global post-GDP discourse. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, I do think these notions of wellness or flourishing pertain to all aspects of a person's life. This is what we're seeking, all aspects of life being good individually and as a society. I think we can see that we need to work towards models of economic development that preserve and even promote these other aspects of well-being, such as meaning in life, character, and relationships. Data will be available, as noted, through the Gallup poll starting in 2027 on these eudaimonic aspects of well-being. This could pave the way for more explicit inclusion of meaning, character, and relationships in the Sustainable Development Goal indicators. On a more personal note, in a remarkable coincidence of events, the first International Wellness Day, April 15th, did coincide with our own 10-year anniversary on April 15th of the Human Flourishing Program at Harvard. And in a furthermore completely unanticipated way, coincided also with the philanthropic commitment of these two donors to fund the inclusion of these aspects of eudaimonic well-being in the Gallup poll. And so to everyone, happy International Wellness Day.
I thank Professor Dr. Willie for his very insightful presentation. And now I invite Professor Benjamin Hyde Wells and the professors in Morgan State University and for the presentations with down of global wellness economy moving from 8.2 trillion to 9 trillion. Professor, you have the floor.
Thanks very much. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm deeply honored to be here. Perhaps my message is not quite as positive as one might like to present at this point, but I think it is important to sort of touch base with the reality of the wellness economy, which is what I've been asked to present on. So essentially my talk will be brief. I'll be talking about the sub-question that I would like you to entertain is this the dawn of the global wellness economy? Is the sun coming up or is the sun going down? Is this a eulogy or is this a celebration? So we're going to start first with the celebration. Next slide. What a 6.8 trillion industry looks like. Next slide. So we're looking at the UN General Assembly Resolution ARES 8248, established April 15th as the International Wellness Day, which we all know and which is what brings us together today. The purpose is to promote holistic well-being, education, and cultural exchange. It demands accessible, inclusive, and affordable wellness practices for all. It highlights the UN's recognition of evidence-based traditional medicine, indigenous practices, combining time-tested holistic care with modern approaches, and it works in harmony with the International Day of Happiness, Yoga, and Meditation Day. It is, in effect, an attempt to convey wellness around the globe for all people, which is indeed a worthy cause. Next slide. Along with the declaration of the day is also policy. There's the UN SDG number 3, goal number 3, end communicable diseases, achieve universal coverage, and reduce health inequities. There's also a call for corporate action to mitigate burnout, reduce absenteeism, design equitable environments, and it's also recently made mental health as an economic and productivity imperative. Wellness, without question, creates jobs. Without question, protects human dignity. It empowers sustainable lifestyles, aligning corporate ESG with UN SDGs, creating resilient societies and profitable enterprises. Next slide, please. Just to give you a glimpse of the types of corporations that make up the wellness economy and the size of it, it is larger than the global IT industry, it is larger than the sports industry, and larger than the pharmaceutical industry. I'm not saying they're all together, but it's larger than any one of those. A lot of these overlap, but they are substantial economies in and of themselves, and they overlap with other economies, but they play a role here in the wellness economy. Next slide, please. So to give you just a glimpse of some of the different dimensions of the wellness economy, there's wellness real estate, which is something that I was not familiar with. It refers to the global efforts to make housing not only more hospitable, more healthier places to live in general, but also providing opportunities for wellness. So a gym in an apartment building would be an example of part of the wellness real estate. Mental wellness, again, is relatively recent addition. It includes self-improvement, mindfulness spaces, sleep technology, brain-enhancing nutriceuticals, and public health and prevention is included as well. Next slide, please. So now, for a moment, I want us to take up to the story behind the numbers. We'll call it the eulogy. And notice I put a question mark here beside it. Next slide, please. To begin with, there's a paradox. There's several paradoxes in the wellness market, in the wellness industry. It is built currently today on consumer purchasing power, which essentially makes it a upper middle class enterprise. Meanwhile, for global well-being, it requires policy, infrastructure, and corporate equity. I would also argue that it requires governmental oversight in order to ensure corporate equity. So we have this sharp division. It is product driven. It is exclusive. It is highly personalized. Meaning, the example here is that I included $10,000 for a retreat, as opposed to global well-being, which requires a systems approach, inclusive, foundational, clean air, community green spaces, and basic preventative care, all of which is available to everyone. So it also is very much market, as I think I sort of alluded to a moment ago, market-driven, targeting the top percentile of people who already possess the base level of health and environmental safety and can afford to pay for the wellness products. Next slide, please. This is a slide that I added to give you a glimpse of the gap that the wellness economy has exposed. There's focusing on women. In the gender gap, women represent 46% of the workforce, but suffer 63% of lost work time, musculoskeletal disorders, often simply because they are using tools that were engineered for men. There's also burnout associated with women at a higher rates than men. And of course, not only do we have the what's here referred to as the menopause blind spot, but I think that So this is what I call the great divergence. We have the wellness economy, and this was alluded to a moment ago. We have the wellness economy. Actually, I apologize, the numbers are a little bit out of date. Now we're at 3.8 trillion, and that's going only up. But we have global well-being that includes happiness, deaths of despair, workplace wellness, which is actually contracting, and the loneliness epidemic, all of which is accelerating, contributing to a decline in global well-being. So how do we reconcile this, right? How do we just have to take a minute to digest it. How do we recognize this divergence where we have this surging economy called the wellness economy, and we have this really what seems to be plummeting on the same year, same window, plummeting of well-being, especially around young people. It's a deep concern, and it leads us to a question at the heart, really, I believe, that we should undertake at this particular moment, at this particular junction, which is, if we're serious about developing global wellness, we also need to be serious about the reality that the economic divisions that our current economic situation perpetuates. Next slide, please. So I want to end here with a shameless plug for SCAR Scholars Network, which is what brings me here. In associate collaboration with Jeevan Vigyan Foundation, we have actually taken this situation to heart. The SCAR Scholars Network has, because we are primarily made up of academics, we have begun a wellness program, which actually, having been someone who participated in one of the early retreats that was offered by the SCAR Scholars Network 2 years ago in Nepal, it was quite an exciting and wonderful retreat. It was also quite shocking to go from the jet lag and my usual mindset of let me get in and out of a conference as quickly as possible to, I actually can have some exercise, I can feel good, I can have healthy food, and go into the conference sort of happier and healthier than I normally do when I go into a conference. That the real effort here is to sort of walk the walk of wellness by actually integrating wellness into and making it part of the budget of a growing scholarly network that's global. So that from now on, as far as I know, we will be offering wellness retreats prior to the actual conference. Now, granted, faculty tend to be middle class around the world. They're also educated and they have access to wellness products. So I can't pretend that we have begun to crack the issue of the economic divide that the wellness economy has unearthed. But I can say that taking it seriously and making it integrated into the system itself is of great benefit. So with that, I thank you.
I thank Professor Benjamin Wells for this excellent presentation on the wellness economy. With this, now I would like to go into my PR colleagues for their interventions. With this, I now invite our Excellency Mrs. Aida Ismail, the representative of Philippines Republic.
Thank you very much for the work. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the speakers, thank you for very interesting presentations. It is a pleasure to join you today to mark the first International Wellness Day, an important initiative that underscores the growing recognition of preventive, people-centered approach. Investing in wellness means investing in human dignity, social stability, and long-term development. The global wellness economy is worth nearly $7 trillion, and yet millions of people cannot access its most basic elements: clean air, safe food, mental health support, and moment of rest. We have built an industry around wellness while leaving behind the people who need it most. This resolution is a call to correct that, to move from wellness as a product to wellness as a right. For Kyrgyzstan, this approach resonates strongly with our national priorities. As a mountainous country rich in natural and cultural heritage, we see great potential in promoting sustainable wellness practices, including ecotourism, traditional knowledge, and community-based initiatives. These efforts not only support healthier lifestyle, but also create opportunities for inclusive economic growth, particularly for women and young people. We also believe that wellness can serve as a unifying platform, bringing together nations and communities in a shared commitment for peace and solidarity. Wellness and healing are multidimensional: physical, mental, spiritual, ecological, rooted in the cultural wisdom of every community on earth. By fostering inner well-being, we strengthen the foundations of peaceful and inclusive societies, in line with the purpose and principles of the United Nations. We say that wellness is a peace agenda, wellness is a climate agenda, wellness is a development agenda. Excellencies, colleagues, as we move forward, it is essential to integrate wellness into our policies across sectors, from health and education to climate action and economic development. Multilateral cooperation will be the key to advancing this policy. In closing, Kyrgyzstan reaffirms its commitment to promoting holistic wellness as a pathway to achieving the sustainable development goals and ensuring a healthier, more peaceful future for all. Thank you.
I thank Her Excellency Aiga for sharing her perspective on wellness. I now invite the woman representative of Armenia, His Excellency Mr. Pavel Nastanian, and who is also the Vice President of the Mission. And we are working very closely. Thank you.
Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, let me begin by sincerely thanking Nepal for its leadership in advancing this important initiative, and in particular my very dear colleague, Ambassador Gopal Uttapa, for his vision and commitment. We gather today to mark the first International Wellness Day, an initiative that rightly places human well-being at the center of our collective international efforts. As highlighted, wellness by its very nature is a holistic concept encompassing physical, mental, social, and environmental dimensions. It therefore requires integrated, people-centered approaches that go beyond sectoral boundaries and encourage coherent action across all relevant domains. At a time when the world is confronted by convergence of interrelated challenges from armed conflicts and widening inequalities to climate change and growing mental health concerns, the importance of prevention cannot be overstated. This applies equally to public health. It involves multifaceted risks that require sustained attention and strengthened international cooperation. Strengthening preparedness is essential also to preventing future pandemics and reducing systemic vulnerabilities in a more systematic manner. In that context, wellness and prevention are deeply interconnected and mutually reinforcing. From our perspective, resilience remains the first line of defense in safeguarding both public health and societal stability. The promotion of wellness is therefore not only a social priority, but also a strategic investment in peace, stability, a sustainable development, and human rights. In this regard, Armenia has initiated a resolution entitled Global Action to Ensure Healthy Quality for Persons with Hemophilia and Other Bleeding Disorders in the WHO, and we greatly appreciate Nepal's support for sponsorship of this We also see strong synergies with broader priorities, including education, which, like wellness, equips individuals and societies with the tools to build more resilient, inclusive, and harmonious communities. Armenia has been advancing an initiative on education and peace, and again we are grateful for Nepal for its support as part of COPE. Looking ahead, we also recognize the important links between wellness, biodiversity, and sustainable development. As Armenia prepares to host COP17 on prevention of biological diversity, we are mindful of the deep interconnection between healthy ecosystems and human well-being. Let us use this day not only to raise awareness, but to strengthen cooperation and translate this holistic vision into practical and impactful outcomes. I thank you.
I thank the permanent representative of Armenia for highlighting the very important in this wellness sector. Now I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Jayanthar Vasily Jayasuriya, permanent representative of Sri Lanka, and
Ambassador of Nepal, His Excellency Lord Bahadur Baba, distinguished professors, Guru Sharma, Consul General of Nepal, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me thank the Permanent Mission of Nepal for organizing the first International Wellness Day, following the adoption of the UN General Assembly Resolution 80/249 titled International Wellness Day on 10th March 2026. Sri Lanka was pleased to co-sponsor this resolution, given its relevance to modern-day human lifestyle, including our own as Israelites. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the lifestyles of modern-day communities have drastically changed over the past few decades. The paper-based 9-to-5 working lifestyles of the majority of people has transformed to a digital working environment, where an average person is spending between 8 to 10 hours in a digital workspace. The modern day job roles are entrusted with more responsibilities and more monetary benefits, but at the cost of our health, both physically and mentally. Many nations have introduced several initiatives to balance between the workspace and private life, but for many, it is still a difficult task to find the conciliation in this aspect. As Lord Buddha proclaimed, I quote, "The greatest wealth a human being can possess is good health or wellness," I quote. You may have sufficient wealth with you, but if you don't possess the required wellness, you are not in a position to carry out any physical activities as you wish. Similarly, mental wellness is equally important for us to maintain our physical health and to function effectively and efficiently in our day-to-day activities. Therefore, wellness is of paramount importance to keep our lives in a better state. In this context, I take this opportunity to thank Nepal for spearheading the recognition of this important aspect of our life and taking steps to declare 15th April as the International Wellness Day. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Sri Lanka is not immune to the consequences associated with the deteriorating health of its own people due to the negligence of wellness. The steady rise in non-communicable diseases has posed a serious challenge to Sri Lanka's healthcare system. It is reported that 83% of deaths in the country are caused by NCDs. 15% of the population is affected by diabetes, of whom nearly 49% do not receive treatment. The management and control of this alarming situation requires an approach with a strong focus on preventive care as well as increased awareness. To address this serious concern, the government of Sri Lanka has allocated 1,500 billion rupees to establish 250 new health and wellness centers island-wide in 2020. While taking steps to uplift the wellness of our communities across the country, the government is also in the process of promoting Sri Lanka as a wellness tourism destination based on our historical association with the Ayurveda treatment system, harmonized with Sri Lankan traditional medicine, which evolved from the prehistoric eras, Buddhism and meditation. I invite all of you to visit Sri Lanka and acquaint yourselves with a holistic wellness experience to lead your life into a better state, both physically and mentally. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, maintaining good health and wellness will enhance our productivity levels and boost our mental well-being. It will also promote longevity and ultimately lead us to a happy and healthy lifestyle. In this backdrop, observance of this important day will provide us with an opportunity to commit ourselves to adapting to a better lifestyle despite the demanding environments in both our personal and official spaces. Let us commit to building a healthier world together. I
thank the woman representative of Sri Lanka for his comprehensive remarks. And now I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Wellington testimony, the woman representative of the Republic, the United Nations, also the Vice President of Kosovo, and the Minister.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, it is an honor for the Dominican Republic to act as sponsor and to express the firm support for the commemoration of the International Day of Wellness, proclaimed in UN General Assembly Resolution 8249. Let me recognize the leadership of Nepal and its ambassador, Habib Khan, for this initiative. The adoption of this resolution represents an important step towards recognizing well-being as a fundamental pillar of sustainable development. Beyond the absence of disease, well-being encompasses physical, mental, emotional, and social dimensions that are essential for individuals to fully realize their potential. In this regard, the inclusion of well-being within the global health agenda is going to an undeniable reality. There can be no health without well-being, and no well-being without dignified living conditions. This vision is closely linked to the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 3, which aims to ensure healthy life and promote well-being for all at all ages. For countries such as the Dominican Republic, this agenda is of particular importance. Investing in well-being means investing in prevention, mental health, healthy lifestyle, and resilient communities. It also requires acknowledging the impact of social, economic, and environmental factors on the quality of life of our population. We also recognize well-being is key to addressing contemporary challenges such as stress, as we just mentioned before, inequality, and the social and emotional consequences of recent global crises. We therefore reaffirm our strong commitment to this initiative and to promoting public policies that integrate well-being as cross-cutting pillars of development. Because investing in well-being is investing in more just, healthier, and more sustainable society. And thank you, Mr. Chair.
I thank Ambassador Wellington for his very comprehensive remarks. And now I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Louis Dinas, Command Representative of Portugal and United States.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, dear colleagues, and congratulations to this initiative. Congratulations to Nepal and his ambassador, Ambassador Wong, who's doing a great job also as president of the Headquarter. For my country, it was an honor to sponsor this resolution This holistic concept of wellness as a driver of sustainable development, peace, and human dignity. This means going beyond treating illness and investing in the conditions that enable people to live healthy and fulfilling lives. Prevention, resilience, and equity must therefore be at the core of our health policies and systems. Portugal is strongly committed to this approach, both at the national and international levels. At home, we are advancing a comprehensive agenda based on prevention and integrated care. Our National Health Plan 2030 promotes a life cycle approach to health, including mental health, and a strong focus on reducing risk factors and improving health outcomes. To ensure this, we are strengthening primary health care as the foundation of our health system, ensuring that services are closer to people, better coordinated, and better equipped for prevention, early intervention, and continuity of care. These efforts reflect our broader commitment to a health in all policies approach, recognizing that well-being is shaped across sectors, from health and education to urban planning and social policy, and requires coordinated rule-of-government action. At international level, we must not forget that wellness is reflected in the 2030 agenda and part of SDG 3, good health and well-being. Even if time is running out, Portugal remains committed to ascertaining and implementing all SDGs, making sure to leave no one behind. International Wellness Day offers an opportunity to translate this shared vision into concrete action by embedding wellness into policies, strengthening prevention, and ensuring that systems fully respond to people's needs. Portugal stands ready to work with all partners to advance this holistic, inclusive, and human-centered vision of well-being and happier lives for all. I thank you very much.
I thank the former representative of Portugal and for his remarks, highlighting the importance of wellness sectors in SDGs, and also sharing the wellness practice in Portugal. I now invite the former representative of CAR, the United Nations, His Excellency Mr. Headquarter.
thus we find ourselves at a crossroads, not a failure of realization. The lesson before us is not one of choosing between peace and west, or between wellness and health, or between happiness and growth. It is rather a lesson of synthesis. We must draw from the deep well of Eastern philosophy, which reminds us of the importance of balance of inner peace, of harmony with nature, and we must harness the ingenuity and dynamism of Western economic model, which have driven innovation, lifted millions of the poverty, and expanded the horizons of possibility. Neither in isolation is sufficient, but together we may offer us our goal, our path where growth is not blinded, but guided, where prosperity is not hoarded but shared, where development is not reckless but responsible, where the success of nations is measured not only by what they produce, but by how they live. This fusion, this meeting of mind and matter, of principle with practice, holds the promise of a more beautiful world. And if we are equal to the task, and I believe we are, then we may execute a future worthy of our highest aspirations. For in the end, the true wealth of nations lies not in the office, but in the well-being of their people. In closing, I would like to congratulate my friend Ambassador for organizing this event, and I wish you all happiness and well-being. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Command Representative of Bhutan and for sharing the report perspective on wellness, also highlighting the importance of this first trial. Now I would like to invite Ms. Yuzna Patel, Deputy Command Representative of India, to share her perspective.
Thank you, Excellency. Colleagues and dear friends, I thank the Government Commission of Nepal for hosting this event commemorating the first International Wellness Day. Its objectives of promoting preventive, lifestyle-based wellness approaches are foundational for holistic well-being of human beings. In a century marked by surging lifestyle diseases and chronic stress, wellness is a realization that true health means harmony within oneself and with nature. Wellness is a dynamic and holistic state that puts physical health, mental well-being, and emotional resilience at the forefront of a healthier and fulfilling life. India, on its part, has consistently worked towards ensuring global recognition of a problem that is essential to humanity by championing the World Meditation Day on 6 December 2024 and the International Day of Yoga on 11 December 2014, emphasizing on both physical and mental well-being. Excellencies, India's approach to wellness is symbolized by its ancient healing traditions of Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy, collectively championed by our Ministry of Ayush. We offered a timely and profound answer to humanity's deepest wellness challenges. A defining virtue of Ayush systems is its emphasis on prevention rather than cure. Ayurveda's concept of Swasthya Vrinda, the science of maintaining health, prescribes daily and seasonal regimens that keep body's internal forces in balance, preventing illness before it manifests. Yoga and meditation will cultivate psychological and physiological resilience and emotional stability over time. India has dedicated medical colleges imparting systematic courses on the various traditional systems and their streams in our country. The Government of India has made Ayush a pillar of our national health policy. In 2014, Ayush was elevated to the rank of an exclusive ministry. Over the past 1 decade, over 170,000 dedicated wellness centers have been set up across our country, providing preventive, rehabilitative, and curative care to people at the level of primary healthcare centers. India is also rapidly emerging as the world's foremost destination for wellness of a dedicated Ayush visa, a specialized Indian visa for foreign nationals seeking treatment using Indian traditional medicine for wellness and therapeutic care is a step to expand this sector. The establishment of the WHO's Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar in Gujarat has given the formal recognition for traditional medicine systems globally, also cementing India's role as the world's leading authority in traditional medicines. I must note that our efforts have resulted in the traditional medicine now being included in the International Classification of Diseases by the WHO. Excellencies, perhaps no argument for holistic wellness is more urgent than the one at the present moment makes. We live in an era of compounding crisis, geopolitical conflict, economic uncertainty, environmental anxiety, information overload, and a global mental health epidemic. The World Health Organization estimates that depression and anxiety cost the global economy $1 trillion annually in lost productivity. In this environment, the tools of inner fortitude that holistic wellness offers are not luxuries, they are necessities. For instance, yoga and its practices have been clinically validated for reducing cortisol, lowering blood pressure, and improving emotional health. Meditation has similarly lead to significant reduction in stress, decreased depression, anxiety, and healing of emotional trauma, all of which are the need of the hour. Friends, wellness is dynamic in nature. In a global environment marked by pandemics, poverty, unemployment, and social exclusion, a holistic approach to health and wellness reaffirms a commitment to place people at the center of health and well-being. Peace and prosperity cannot be achieved without accounting for the health of our population. We must all renew our commitment to a more holistic implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, where the individual and his health is given priority.
I thank the Deputy Command Representative of India and for their excellent support. And now I would like to invite Mr. Ustad Alam, the Deputy Command Representative of Bangladesh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, distinguished professors. Let me begin by thanking the Permanent Mission of Iran, and especially Ambassador Papa, for convening this timely event to mark the first International Wellness Day. Wellness is a public good and a public policy imperative
Bangladesh remains committed to working with all partners to advance a holistic understanding of wellness in the service of peace, dignity, and sustainable development for all. I thank you all.
I thank the Deputy Woman Representative of Bangladesh. Now I would like to invite Dr. Natalia Manol from the United Nations Development Program UNDP.
Excellencies, on behalf of the United Nations Development Program, I congratulate Nepal and the co-sponsored member states in the first observance of International Wellness Day. Nepal's leadership here is fitting. We have long shown that well-being of people, communities, nature, and growth cannot be separated, and its tradition of community stewardship remains a powerful example. What we have heard today from all the interventions is that we can move from aspiration to action when policies and markets and communities are aligned around people's well-being and rights. For UNDP, this agenda is intricately connected to our vision of what human development is. That is, development that is about expanding people's freedoms, their choices, and ability to lead the lives that they want to live and indignant. And this multidimensional view of well-being, physical, mental, social, cultural, spiritual, and ecological, that we have heard about, including from Professor Vanderlei, is really how UNDP views human development. And it's also an economic agenda, as is rightfully mentioned, projected to reach 9.8 trillion by 2029. And this presents real opportunities for countries, if done right, to generate jobs, strengthen local enterprise, and build new sources of sustainable growth. And we already have seen very good examples. For example, UNDP, working closely with the government of Nepal, has supported more inclusive, community-centered approaches to tourism and heritage economies, including around sites such as Lumbini, strengthening local value chains and livelihoods while safeguarding cultural heritage and ecosystems. But we can't take this for granted. As we have heard, those who benefit from this wellness economy are often not the ones who are on the ground. Too often the value chains are really far from the communities, traditions, and ecosystems on which this wellness economy depends on. So for UNDP, this points to three priorities. First, it's about ensuring that the economy creates tangible gains, decent jobs, stronger local value chains, and greater inclusion of women, young people, as well as rural communities. Second, it's ensuring that growth is rooted in sustainability by protecting the natural ecosystems and cultural heritage, and the traditional knowledge that underpin this sector. And third, it's ensuring that growth is truly governed in the public interest. And I really love the quote from Sierra Kyrgyzstan that we need to move away from wellness as a product to wellness as a right. And really this is about policy, about coordination, and community safeguards that this sector requires. So this is reflected in how UNDP has established its new Prosperity and Wellbeing Hub, which brings together the work on jobs, inclusion, health and well-being to support exactly this kind of integrated agenda. And we stand ready to work with member states and partners to translate the promise of the wellness economy into national and local development strategies, helping to design policies, mobilize investment, and build the local capacities so that this growth agenda and that this in the different sectors truly advances human development in a meaningful and lasting way. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Natalia, for your presentations and excellencies guests. Before we give the floor to Soma for the special class sessions, I invite our co-host of today's event, my colleague, Mr. Mandari, Consul General of Nepal, to share.
Thank you. Excellency, Dr. Papa, Excellency, Ambassador, Consul General, as well as to our distinguished speakers for their insightful message, which have reaffirmed that wellness is both national priority as well as global imperative. I also wish to extend our sincere appreciation to His Excellency Gopal Thapa for your leadership and vision in advancing this important initiative. I thank you, Professor Taylor and Professor Benjamin, for bringing the different dimension of wellness economy and its philosophy. We are also eagerly awaiting the insight, wisdom, and practical session from our dear Guru, Health Sharma. As the host of this event, the Consul General of Nepal, New York, is honored to be part of this landmark global initiative. Excellencies, our discussion today has clearly underscored a central message. Wellness is not a luxury. It is foundational to peace, prosperity, and sustainable development. At its core, wellness is about balance within ourselves, within our societies, and in harmony with each other. This is a timely reminder that in a world marked by multiple challenges and uncertainty, we must move beyond reactive approaches and invest in preventive, holistic, and people-centered pathways. For Nepal, wellness is deeply embedded in our tradition and the way of life, shaped by our close relationship with Nepal from the Himalayas to our community. As it has been said by previous distinguished speaker, truly we are at the crossroads of technological change and political uncertainty. Compounded by self-centered mindset, to overcome this situation, we have to go to our ancient Upanishadic wisdom. That is making very loud and clear voice that Vasu Daiva Kutumbakam, meaning the world is one family and it will make all the difference, and we are calling for the revival of this ancient wisdom by provoking that holistic approach is necessary to cope up with multiple challenges. Therefore, today, as we advance this important agenda, allow me to highlight three key messages. First, wellness must be mainstream across all sectors: health, education, environment, economic policy, and so on. Second, partnerships are indispensable, bringing together governments, United Nations system, academia, civil society, and community at large. Third, our effort must be inclusive, action-oriented, ensuring that no one is left behind in accessing the benefit of wellness. The first observance of this event is not an endpoint. This is a beginning. A call to reframe our development through the lens of human well-being, dignity, harmony with nature. In this spirit, we will be celebrating 2027 as Nepal Wellness Year. With our rich tradition, cultural heritage, and the natural serenity of Himalayas, Nepal offers a unique and authentic experience of holistic wellness. I warmly invite all of you to visit Nepal, if not sooner than in 2027, to celebrate Nepal Wellness Year and experience our distinct tradition, hospitality, and approach to well-being. I thank you all for your presence today, sharing your insight and your continued commitment to this region and to this celebration. I wish you good health, happiness, and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, our Consul General of Nepal, New York. Excellencies and distinguished guests, we are grateful to Bharat Sharma for this important event marking the first
chair the PR of Nepal United Nations Ambassador Global Partner. Under Secretary General Consulate of Nepal in New York here, distinguished professors, excellences, brothers and sisters of our shared home, Nepal. Silence is the most endangered resource in the world. We visit the pinnacle of human ingenuity. We have almost touched the outer skies, outer space. We have explored many planets, and we have synchronized the whole globe with a single click. Still, in the whole process, what is missing is the intimate and essential connection with oneself. In this era, it is the haunting paradox. When we are fully connected with everything outside, we are totally disconnected with everything inside. And this disconnection is not, it doesn't come for free. It comes at a huge cost in the form of burnout, anxiety, and depression. Now, our professionals here, friends here have come up with so many data. I don't want to add much to that. But as we speak now, WHO surveys indicate that over 1 billion people are in serious stress when we create mental health. And this restless human mind, that we live in, the restless human mind is the number one culprit of all. And it is wondered by conflict, but yet what is really the conflict? Can you see the paradox? It is wondered by conflict, but yet it perpetuates the conflict. Now, wellness for a long time was considered a soft luxury of a few people. But last couple of decades have proven to us that soft wellness is not a luxury, it's a global imperative. And looking at this, Nepal proposed this International Wellness Day, and while humbly recognizing all hidden traditions worldwide, including the Japanese ikigai for meaning and purpose, the Thai massage, special Thai massage, the Chinese Qigong, the Korean Jinji Ban and Bada rituals, and there's so many of them, and especially the Oponopopo from Hawaii, and many of these from different parts of the world. It's basically to unite all these hidden traditions, to bring all of them together, give them a voice, and then have them in the total meaning and purpose of wellness. Now, in addition to this, as our friends have highlighted, the SDG number 3, which is good health and well-being for all, is so important that what I feel is nothing rises above the well-being of our planet's people. Because that's the number one agenda. Here comes Nepal. Nepal's snow-clad mountains, known as the Himalayas, have not just been the mountains. They have been the treasury of knowledge about seers, saints, and sages, where our people, our ancestors, they meditated, they sat there for years together, and they is something very meaningful for the entire human race. And Nepal is a small country in terms of the economy. For example, a developing country in terms of economy, but a large country in terms of what we have to offer to the human race. And looking at this, the four very practical things that I feel that we can contribute to the world's wellness. I don't mean to say that these do not exist in other parts of the world, but when it comes to wellness, what Nepal brings in to the table. Number one is the science of stability in the form of yogasana, pranayama, and meditation. And there are ample research evidences to show that yogasana, pranayama, and meditation, the trio practice together, is number one solution for stress. And number one solution for many of the problems. There are so many reports that say that yogasana, pranayama, and meditation practiced together, they add to longevity by up to 40 years. And not just that. The second thing that comes to my mind when we talk of Nepal is the holistic system of Ayurveda and naturopathy that is being practiced in Nepal. Very authentic, very traditional, and it is rooted in our ancient wisdom. And we want to not just expand this, we want to go more into research. The third thing is, whenever something happens in a body of mind, in Nepal, in the traditional places, people don't ask the person, why are you not there? Well, they don't ask you which organ of your body is not there. They ask you what has happened to your energy center, the chakras, the energy vortices, which make a human being, which make a human being energy. They ask you very fundamental question. And these energy chakras can be healed, can be treated, can be damaged, and can be activated. And this science, lost for generations, is now again gaining ground in Nepal. The fourth thing that we bring is the culture of wellness. It's not just one thing that has to be diet. It's everything. I was so happy to listen to you. My happiness, and I feel so happy when I'm listening to people, not when I'm speaking. But I've been given a speaking role in my life, and also. I was so happy because you're bringing so many things together, and all of them put together, they make for the wellness. And I think this meeting brings in wellness in the form of wellness. Now, this is the age not just of words, but of collaborative action. Nepal invites nations and institutions, especially in three different sectors. Number one, we want to establish a Himalayan wellness research hub. And there are foundations for that. But we want not just foundations, we want scientific evidence, and we want further this. So we can talk about this later on. I don't want to elaborate much. The second thing is on the International Wellness Day, we can think of something like a global well-being metrics that integrates so many of our practices. And the third one is the open access toolkit that is available even for children. The wellness toolkit is available for children. That is available for everyone. That is accessible, handy, and that is what people can really practice instead of just talking about it. I'll also take you to practice it sometime. Friends and set down to a meditation of 15 minutes at 1:50 p.m. in the park. But this is via apps and community pilots. Because we found that peace is not found outside, it has to be cultivated. And if it is to be cultivated, we must sit down to meditate. We must sit down to meditate. And then, this is not just a revolution in meditation. This is a rebellion against the noise that is killing all of us. Now, we also propose a fundamental shift in our global compass. Professor Vanderbilt was talking about it. Now we have seen that the economies are growing, but it is leaving our people in very different and very difficult situations like burnout, anxiety, and a complete disconnect. So what we want to propose is we see that GDP, the current GDP is broad-basing. And a better solution could be integration of the standard gross national wellness. I'm so happy to learn that thank you for good answers. About gross national habits that they appreciate. Now, someone is to initiate, and there are people here, people in the academy, who do a lot of work on this. Now, we want to further this since the International Wellness Day is there now. We must talk about gross national wellness and start working on it. It is basically not excluding GDP, it is rather integrating all practitioners because 21st century progress has to be not just economic, it has to be an integral progress and our nature also has to be integrated. This DNW must prioritize mental health, emotional resilience, and social and spiritual connection. Excellencies, Nepal has entered a deeper national commitment to its wellness policy. I'm so happy that just about 12 hours back, the cabinet, the Nepal Government's cabinet, endorsed the wellness strategy for Kenya. And we also declared Nepal Wellness Day 2027 that scales tourism, retreats, and platforms for global partnerships. We invite the global community to join us in our research hub, wellness matrix, and pilot toolkits that we were talking about. And we also want to see that we want to listen to you, note everything that we talk about, because we want to integrate all traditions from around the world and come up with something shared that can become a foundation for human growth. Together we can co-create a well-being for everyone. And excellencies and citizens, what unique wisdom will your nation contribute? Let us weave it into our self-strength. The 19th century gave us machines. The 20th century gave us data. And the 21st century must give us wellness. It must give us wellness. And wellness revolution needs no weapons, it needs only attention. It does not need fortunes, it just needs collaboration and willingness. From the environment hub to every global citizen, not just what we want to say is, let us not merely advance, but deeply align. This inner alignment is what is required today. And let's not just suggest the future that we want to bring in, but leave it fully in harmony everywhere. Now, having said this, I want to take you to a small practice. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Let's say butterflies flying. Even things are meant to fly. So let's fly for some time. You can do this sitting, or you can do this standing. I'll introduce a practice that almost all 1.5 million people go into for every 15 first we'll go into a pranayama, a breathing exercise known as namaskar pranayama. Namaskar pranayama, the namaskar we know it. The namaskar pranayama, the breathing exercise, and then followed by a long and deep breath. Long and deep breath is a solution for many of human problems. And the third step will be affirmative meditation. It's not going to take more than 15 minutes. I invite all of you to join us during the part of this meditation. Now what we do is, in Namaskar Mudra, hold your hands together. As you inhale, expand your arms, expand your hands, as you inhale. And as you exhale, close your mouth, exhale from your nose, and then flap your arms. We cannot do stand, we can do the standing also, we can do it. If you want to stand, it's good to stand. Yes, please. Music, please. Last one. Full force, full energy, full energy. Close your eyes, close your mouth, and open your heart. Open your heart. Exhale completely, exhale fully. Exhale fully. If you release the use volume, please. Exhale fully. Cancel like this. This is number one, this is doctor. Put in more energy, 5 more, it costs you nothing, and it gives you everything. The goal is not inspired. When you exhale off, you're throwing away not just the brain. You're throwing away your sleeplessness and your despair. Try it. Slowly stop, keep your mouth and eyes closed. Now you can do this standing, you can do this sitting. Long and deep breath. Now it's the seated pranayama or the seated pranayama. Long and deep breath. Long inhalation. Allow things to happen. Accept what comes. And a long and deep exhalation. The beauty of the life, the benediction of human life can be experienced fully, and the brain is long and deep. which is the very foundation of wellness. Long and deep breathing. Give yourself this luxury of peace. It costs you nothing, it gives you everything. Long and deep breathing. See the silence and the energy reverberating throughout your body. Feel yourself as you take long and deep breath. Now, the third stage is affirmation meditation. Allow your brain to be normal, natural. On your inhalation, gently and silently say to yourself, I am. And on your exhalation, gently and silently say to yourself, happy. I am happy. Keep repeating this. This is not just a mantra. This is something you are aligning into. Happiness is internal. Happiness is inside us. Feel your happiness. I am happy. Whatever you say to yourself, your body, your mind, and your brain, listen. They listen to you and they obey you. Always say to yourself, I am happy. Feel the happiness inside. Happiness is never to be found outside. It's always inside us. I am happy. It costs you nothing. It gives you nothing. Feel the happiness arising within you. You have chosen to be happy. It is your personal choice. Now the second affirmation. On your deep inhale, gently and silently say to yourself, I am. And on the exhale, say to yourself, healthy. I am healthy. Keep repeating to yourself. We program ourselves through whatever we say. Our affirmations and auto-suggestions are our own program. Nobody comes to program my mind. I have to do it on my own. I am healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. Feel as if the whole world is saying this with you. I am healthy. The whole world, everyone. I am healthy. third affirmation now. For your long inhale, gently and silently say to yourself, I am. And for the exhale, gently and silently say to yourself, peaceful. I am peaceful. Peace is inside of you. Do not seek it outside. Gautam Buddha. I am peaceful. No matter what happens to your life, you have a choice which nobody else can take it away. You have a choice to remain peaceful, to remain resilient. I am peaceful. Say to yourself again. We are the products of our own choices. The moment we choose peace over stress, over confusion, we start experiencing peace in and around us. I am peaceful. Feel the peace rising from within you. No one can take the peace away from you. It is inherent to you. I am peaceful. The body is feeling very light, the mind is feeling peaceful, and the whole life is feeling energetic. It's chaos amidst noises. Slowly apply the energy to your eye. Every walk up and dry. And gently open. It's something we can do to ourselves. It doesn't cost anything. We can teach to ourselves. We can teach to everyone. And thank you for being a part of this event. Thank you.
Thank you to the Dave, the Soha, Excellencies, distinguished guests, Vedant, the very important people that thank you so much for the guidance which as well. As we conclude this meaningful commemorations of the International Post-International Wellness Day, we are formed up around 4 days of holistic wellness that places overall human being at the core of our development. Let's leave time for what we do valuations underscores at least 45 the messages. First, holistic wellness is not a peripheral concern, but a fundamental pillar for advancing peace, for promoting advancing prosperity, and advancing sustainable development in our interdependent and interconnected world. Second, we understood the importance of advancing preventive and promotive healthcare through lifestyle-based solutions, wellness literacy, and cost-effective intervention and reduce long-term financial burdens of the healthcare system. Third, we recognize holistic wellness is a vital pathway to nations, community culture, and community generations, enhancing quality of life, safeguarding human dignity, and bringing every human being to realize the full comparison. Fourth, we highlight the need to promote sustainable wellness industries and communities. Its drivers of inclusive economic growth, job creations, environmental stewardship, and poverty eradication, and all that. And finally, we emphasize the imperative of empowering women and youth and communities by ensuring equitable access to wellness education, resources, and communities. These are the key messages reflect our shared visions and determination to advance holistic wellness is the cornerstones of global peace, health, and sustainable development. Excellency is this base. This inaugural observance of International Wellness Day has fostered a spirit of solidarity and multilateral collaboration, laying the foundation for sustained innovation, knowledge sharing, and policy integration at the regional, national level, and global level. As we move forward, let us close the days inside into concrete regular actions that they will have impact on using and considerations. Once again, I sincerely thank Your Excellency, guests, their participants, for their valuable contributions in this event to success. I'm grateful to Gurudev as well as the officers for the excellent and insightful and comprehensive presentations that enlightened us with the importance of wellness. With this, I declare that this event is concluded. Thank you so much again. See you.